Good morning, folks. Welcome to our channel where you determine what we talk about and you actually determine the format. It's very difficult to do this format, but this is what you requested. You want all the references here, and you want the story here because so many of our viewers are literally hard of hearing, and the intelligence community cannot believe what's going on. They're not the brightest bulbs on the block. Their IQs are not the highest on the planet. They're usually contained because they have an education. So unless we show them the references in a pattern of references, their brains snap. It's who they are. They're usually pretty wimpy and pretty stupid. But that's okay. We're here to please them as well as our other readers and viewers. We're showing a trend so we can change the direction of planet Earth. Welcome to the smartest, most active, and one of the largest audiences in the world. Your prayers are making the difference, and you're the coolest audience in the world. Banks fracturing as Microsoft takes over the planet. Just got a private word from a banker, and I don't exactly know what he means, but he says the banks are fracturing. With over $1,000 trillion of hedge funds now teetering on the verge of collapse because they were based on fake stuff, like debt notes that don't exist. One hedge fund will do a debt note on a house worth $200,000. The second hedge fund does an investment based on the first hedge fund. Pretty soon you have 100 hedge funds based on one loan, which is debt. And when that loan goes into default, all 100 hedge funds collapse. That's how it works. The English set this up years ago, where they issued $25 for every dollar they had in gold in the bank in the early 1700s. Now they've done it again thanks to our presidents that came after Reagan. We're on the verge of collapse. The president has done a great job in setting up a one-world dictatorship. Sieg Heil. That's what they used to say to Adolf Hitler in the last great, shall we say, conflict. We can't say that word. Can't say it. And announce Microsoft is reaching out to control all computing systems worldwide. They own Apple. So, in fact, the CIA, which works with Microsoft and the NSA, pretty well own the planet. With a recent release of a virus that is greatly affecting all non-Windows 10 users in over 104. Unbelievable the extent that Microsoft has just done, and why nobody's contained them, I don't know. With the release of the virus, it's greatly affecting all non-Windows users in over 140 different nations. Users like the World Banking System, which uses Vista. Microsoft has now come out and stated that they released the cure before the virus was released. Here it is in a story. In March, we released a security update which addresses the vulnerability that these attacks are exploiting. This is in a story, Customer Guidance for WannaCrypt Attacks. In other words, Microvirus came up with the cure, and then the virus was released. Gee, isn't that suspicious? We know the entire world banking system is run on Vista, and 2 weeks after Vista is no longer supported by Microsoft, the virus breaks out, causing banks to fracture. Kind of sounds like Ebola and HIV, whose cure we had in the U.S. Army manuals before the viruses were even discovered. Well, here it is. Microsoft is admitting it released the cures for the WannaCrypt attacks right before the attacks were released. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We never got the updates. We have a Windows 95 computer. We have a Windows Vista computer, our old laptops. And we have 2 new Windows 7 computers to run this the stories we do now. Not one update was sent to us to solve this problem. The only updates we received were trying to force us into Windows 10 in all 4 computers. And they forced us into the cloud. So everything we do goes automatically into the cloud. So now Microsoft, with these updates, because if you don't do them, your computing systems won't work. So now Microsoft controls everything in the new updates put in your computer into Windows 11. I'm calling Windows 11 the Smart Cloud. Everything is run by computers. Now everything is run by Microsoft. Think about it. The weather, therefore crop production. Your car, after 2000, almost all cars can be run by the computer. My old 1990 S10 can be started and stopped at will. I was shown by a friend in the intelligence community. He can turn my little 1999 S10 on or off by the push of a button. All he has to do is type in my name, and there's my car. He can start it or stop it. Now, he couldn't have it make a left turn on the freeway. However, it's been shown that our current newer car can actually be fully remotely controlled by a Microsoft computer. That's correct. They can drive it for us. They can take our brand new car, that's a couple years old, they can take our new car, drive it down the road, make a left turn, make a right turn, anything they want to do. The videos on YouTube, I've had YouTube erase 32 videos using a Microsoft program. So they can control what you watch on the internet. Your bank accounts, 100% controlled by Microsoft computers since 1977. That's around 41 years they've had complete control of your bank account. So, for example, if the FBI stole, say, $150,000 from you to start a full-scale nuke conflict, 80,000 nukes in the air, if they wanted to rob 150,000 from you so a president can be assassinated, hint, hint, they don't have to give it back to you, or they can give it back to you at the push of a button. They just make it up with a Microsoft computer program. So obviously, because they haven't returned it, they're still pushing to assassinate a president and start a major conflict to reduce populations. Your ID, your driver's license, and passport, the data in the computers are all run by Microsoft. If they don't want you to leave Canada or leave the United States, when you start leaving the country, they type in your name and you have to sit there for hours. Unbelievable. The missing $6.5 trillion from the Defense Department? Well, first of all, how do you lose $6.5 trillion with a $700 billion budget? That missing money, all created using a Microsoft computing program run out of Microsoft headquarters. The money the FBI was robbing this poor Russian hacker with $15 million in the latest Source article so that he would state something like he was working with Trump through the Russians. All of that is digital money controlled by Microsoft. Go to the news Source file to read about that. $150 million dark web order. Dark web kill order contract on President Donald Trump issued for $150 million. We said there would be a threat on his life on the 12th, plus or minus 3 days. Well, I guess we were dead on again. God is never wrong. All of that run by a Microsoft computing program, the SWIFT program. So if they wanted to kill a president, they would steal the money from somebody and then never return it. Correct? Well, that's just what they do. All the money transfers to the Big H, we can't say it, for her election campaign against President Trump. And the Big C Foundation, the guys running cocaine and marijuana, the Big C Foundation, all digital money transferred by the Microsoft computing system Vista to the SWIFT account. All GSA monies transferred to the Circle Corporation to set up and conduct terrorism worldwide. All the false flags run on digital money through a Microsoft computing program controlled by, Microsoft. Even jets used on 9/11 controlled by Microsoft computing programs directly under the control of Microsoft. Phil McConnell found that out on Able Danger. Finally, the caveat. We're on top class action reports, and your brain's going to go on terminal hold for this. Even many vibrators, like the WeVibe, unbelievable. Here's the WeVibe, folks. WeVibe data collection class action settlement. Right there, top class actions. That's a little vibrator for you girls. Even many vibrators like the WeVibe are controlled by computer programs now linked into Windows 11 Smart Cloud. And any intelligence agent can turn your vibrator on or off, or track when you use the vibrator, and then watch you through the camera on your flat screen TV. Nobody said these intelligence agents were moral, did they? Unbelievable. Even your vibrators, many of the vibrators are controlled by Microsoft. You had to download a special computing system that ties into Microsoft Windows 11 cloud program, the Smart Cloud. They can turn this on or off at will. Unbelievable. So now as the world recovers from this horrible NSA virus crippling the banking system by downloading Microsoft updates and tying all of their data into the Smart Cloud, Microsoft literally runs this planet. They can make a jet turn upside down at 500 miles an hour at 35,000 feet. It's all computer controlled, and there's nothing the pilots can do. There's no off button. So as the banks begin to fracture, please realize it's being controlled out of the Microsoft headquarters in Redmond, Washington, and no politician has the guts to arrest 3 or 4 people there, do they? And out of some key underground bases under Moscow, Singapore, and China. Who's in power? Who has money? Everything is controlled by Microsoft. And as we've learned yesterday at the United Nations special internal broadcast within the United Nations that we get and we report on, most every nonprofit corporation around the world, like the United Nations, that was an unbelievable admission. The UN is a nonprofit corporation, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, which is the world headquarters of the United Nations. And as a side note, remember the last major conflict between 1939 and 1945 involving Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Japan versus the United States, the Nazis versus France, England, Poland, Russia. Remember that little conflict? Guess who funded it? The World Banking System. And the United Nations apparently was in Geneva at the time before it was incorporated in San Francisco, moved to New York with the incorporation headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. Apparently they started that war to allow the souls of the humans to advance. Let me say that again. They put stress on humanity to allow our souls to grow. Any questions? Yeah. Kind of stunning, isn't it? Savings tip of the day. Keep at least 1 month's supply of cash on hand just in case the banking systems go down for a short while. You're going to need about $1,000 a month if you're like us for traveling. Actually, we could probably live on about $300 a month. Don't forget to stay up at least a month out on food and medications, water, and toilet paper. If you turn the power off on your hot water tank, we have a 38-gallon hot water tank. We drain it every year to take the sludge out of it to decrease our heating costs. So we go over, we turn the power off on the hot water tank, put a hose to it, drain it out onto the lawn. As soon as the sludge stops going out of it, we turn it off. Take the hose off, wait for about 5 minutes, then turn the power back on the hot water tank. We have 38 gallons of water there in case there's an emergency. Jane and I could probably get along with 38 gallons for 1 month if we scrimped and saved. It's usually about a gallon of water per month per day. Or gallon of water per person per day. So if you have 2 people, you normally need 60 gallons. But we're old. 2 people, we could probably live on 38 gallons. You know we're in a pickle as a planet. The populations are skyrocketing. The sun is enlarging. Africa, I think, has doubled from 500 million to 1.2 billion people, I think, in 30 years. There's almost no farming in Africa. The food imports are incredible. Populations are skyrocketing. The sun is enlarging. Crop failures everywhere. Microsoft is now fracturing our banking system. Unbelievable stuff. Pray that your families are safe in what's coming. Please also pray that the farmers use the formula we have in the Cure for Tree Diseases. If you use that formula as we give it, marginal lands that are now being flooded will now be able to be farmed. I personally, if the banks are fracturing and you lose your crop, don't expect to be paid by the federal crop insurance program. You've been paying into it, but if Microsoft is fracturing the banks, then that system is going to fracture as well. We had a friend 40 years ago, about 1977, lose $6,000 in a bank. That was a lot of money for 1977. In 1987, 10 years later, the FDIC offered them $600. Take it or leave it. 1 cent or 10 cents on the dollar, 10 years later. Don't expect the federal insurance programs to work anymore. They were gutted by the last president. The wall of truth never wavering, saving America one firecracker at a time. God bless, you are the greatest audience in the world. Put up with the fact that YouTube is knocking our hits down to 1,000. Just put up with it and move on. They don't want any of this data out. And the Microsoft programs now being used by Google and YouTube have voice recognition programs. We're now down to about a 1 in 50, actually 1 in 80. So for every hit that we get, there's actually 80 people who watch our videos. We were at a 1 in 10, then they knocked it to 1 in 20. Now it's about 1 in 80. Because yesterday we got about 400,000 hits on a video they gave us 5,000 hits for. So just put up with that. Put up with the fact that they kick you off as a subscriber. Resubscribe. We appreciate your support. We don't want your money. The only video channel out there that does not want your money, we need your prayers. Because if we don't have a planet, what good is your money? God bless to each and every one of you. Expect miracles in your life. There are a lot of calls we're getting now. Cancer cured. Prostate cancer, lung cancer, brain cancer, diabetes, people getting rid of Alzheimer's with their parents. Enormous miracles are now occurring through this channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. All glory goes to God, not me. I'm just a simple messenger. I'm really a nobody in the eyes of God. I just deliver the messages. God bless to each and every one of you. We love you. Thank you, and good night.